Welcome to Nacht Waffen Pilot with Penny Bradley. And this is a special edition. And we have Billy Carson with us. And I didn't get a bio for him, so I'm going to wing it. This is what I know of the man. He runs the Forbidden Knowledge website with a couple of people that I also know. And he has been on Ancient Aliens, and he has been on Gaia, and he has a book out about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So he is a world traveler, and he actually knows what he's talking about. So welcome, Billy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's fantastic. I'm so happy to be on your show. Of course, I met you a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I've come full circle. Here I am on your podcast.
Yeah. For the audience, I went to Contact in the Desert in 2018 because I was going to be speaking at a conference that fall, and I'd never been to one. Well, it's real easy to be an ass if you don't know what the people are going through. So I was there as a volunteer to see what the people were going through.
Yeah.
And so Billy was in my group at the time, and I was naive and thought he would know who I was, and walked up to him while he was eating lunch, and he didn't know who I was, and I was really embarrassed, and he was a total gentleman about it, and I was quite impressed and still am. So
Listen, I mean, I meet so many people, and a lot of people add me to their groups automatically sometimes, and so with the, I think I'm up to now 4.5 million followers across all the platforms.
wow.
And so it becomes difficult to really remember every single face, but I'm glad we met. I'm glad we were able to, talk. And also then, of course, I think you posted something about me on social media, which I then shared and everything, or commented under as well. So I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're in this space, that you're doing what you're doing and helping to bring enlightenment to the world.
Thank you. That my personal testimony is about some of the darkest stuff out there, but my show, my podcast, and now my radio show has been about documenting the disclosure community. So I'm not wanting to impose my testimony on other people. I want you to come in and talk about what you do.
Right.
And I do shift alters, which my audience knows. And so if I go completely out in space, just ignore me. I'm not doing that as bad as I was in January. So, yeah, I've been doing the work to stop that. So, your book about the Emerald Tablets, how do you view the Emerald Tablets?
Well, I had been studying and researching the Emerald Tablets of Thoth and also the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. There's actually two different versions. One is a singular tablet, one is a plural tablets. And so I have been studying and researching those for years, over a decade. And it was really intriguing to me that a lot of people had been trying to grasp and understand the knowledge in there, the full depth of the knowledge. Some people had written and talked about different things in those tablets, but I saw that they were missing a lot of the pieces of the puzzle. And I was really able, for whatever reason, to really understand and grasp it. So I said, I need to write a book about this, at least the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And so I incorporated also the Emerald Tablet of Hermes in my book as well. So I've got both of those great works from Thoth the Atlantean in one book. And what I did was I broke down the verses. So after a few verses, I stopped the reader and I break down what they just read so they get a better understanding of exactly what's going on. And then I compare the ancient technology and the quantum physics and the quantum mechanics to what we know now as quantum physics, quantum mechanics in the modern era, and also technology in the modern era. And so I was able to put that together, and it really resonated with a lot of people because the book has been a bestseller now for 29 months straight, consecutive 29 months in Ancient Civilizations on Amazon.
That's amazing. When I read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, it was on Crystal Links.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like that they had been written to just me. And then I heard other people talking about it and go, oh, yeah, it is. It is out there for everybody. So it was that personal to me and was a big part of my figuring out what was happening to me when my memories were activated. It was like, okay, this is an instruction manual for me, which is probably a completely different approach than what you took.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's interesting about the Emerald Tablets is I find that they resonate with each person's subconscious individual, based on their perspective and individually. So it's kind of like they're written specifically for each person, but the way that it's set up, that it resonates for every single person in different ways. And what's really amazing is that these writings of Thoth, the Atlantean, because we know about the hermetic principles and fractals, everything that he put into these tablets, and you read it then, and it comes into your body because you actually take that information from his consciousness platform to a two-dimensional platform, which is pen and paper, and then you read it, and it takes it into your consciousness platform. So you're becoming a fractal of his consciousness is downloaded into your brain. And so everybody gets a different part of that fractal and perceives it differently. And so it's designed to resonate with different things and different talents and gifts in different people.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense than me sitting there feeling weird when other people had read it. You read something and it feels very personal. And then when you realize that other people have other views of it, it's like, oh. So, yeah. I have not read your book yet. I have ordered it. So,
I would have sent you a copy.
Well, you can still do that if you want to sign it.
Yeah, I'll give you a personalized signed autograph copy, and I'll give you a couple of extra so that you can give them away to your listeners.
Okay, that sounds great. I've seen on your Facebook wall, your social medias, some of the trips that you've taken, and one of the things that has come through to me, I see the Anunnaki as a 3D physical race, just with very long lives relative to us. Yeah. Do you see them that way as well?
I sure do. I see them as physical beings, not multidimensional beings, not etherical beings, not people that live in different universes and all this stuff. I've heard a lot. These were people that directly lived here, flesh and blood people that interacted with human beings on a personal level. Mm-hmm. The evidence is written and etched into stone tablets in cuneiform, Akkadian, and Babylonian. And they dwelt amongst the people of those eras. And they had battles and fights. Some were killed, some were dismembered, some were badly injured and wounded in battle. And so these were people. These were flesh and blood people that lived here. They're not any kind of other, people try to make them into ghosts and all. They're real. They were real, actual physical beings, and they had phenomenal and still do have phenomenal lifespans because of their advanced technology and knowledge of genetics. They were master geneticists. And so, they're real people. They're not, some of these etherical plane beings and alternate dimension beings and stuff like that, fourth dimensional. No, they were just flesh and blood, third dimensional beings that happen to be a very warring race for whatever reason, I can't, understand how they can rise to that level of technological advancement and still be that envious and jealous of one another, but they did.
Yeah, that's something that has always amazed me, was that they got to that height
Yeah.
and still had all the petty negative issues like we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's just that's shocking when you think about it. Is how did they get that far and not outgrow this stuff?
Right. I know. It's amazing. And what it really seems like when you analyze these tablets and you start seeing that on their home planet, they had achieved some certain level of peace and the wars were really ancient, like the wars had gone away, but they still had some weapons of mass destruction and things like that, which were stolen and brought to Earth with this breakaway civilization that they created. It seems to me almost like Earth became, or this actual solar system itself became a wild, wild west, where once they start, when they first got here, as you're reading into all these different tablets, you're realizing that they were trying to follow this rule of law that was established from their own planet. And then at some point, you started to realize gradually, like, oh, there's nobody watching over us. Oh, there's nobody telling us we can't do this. And so
Yeah.
they were having conversations back and forth, like, well, who could stop us? And if we do this, well, what would the creator of all think? So they believed there was something that created above them.
Yeah,
And
that's been something that I've paid attention to, was that creator of all that is was above them.
right, exactly. So they had awareness of that, but they took that wild, wild west approach. Where, it's like a kid, you have a teenager, and then that teenager, is like 17, 18, they start going out on dates or start hanging out, and they start realizing, oh, well, nobody's going to tell me I can't do this. So they go a
Yeah.
little further, a little further, and a little further. And I think that's what happened. They got out of control. And because there was nobody to, put them back in their place, they just went rush out all over the planet and just really, they went crazy. They literally went absolutely crazy. They really started to believe they were real gods.
Now that's the impression I get from a lot of the tablets, is that they started off rational,
Yeah.
and somewhere along the way the power went to their heads and they started believing they were real gods and smiting people who didn't.
Yeah.
You're this little human, you're looking up at this guy that's significantly taller than you are.
Yeah.
And going, and I'm supposed to do what you say. Why?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So that really, they got the God complex, the ego took over, and unfortunately, they began to even fight themselves. So if you read the book of Deuteronomy, you realize in the book of Deuteronomy, which is in the Bible, there's these wars that keep going back and forth. And these wars are not, God is supposedly calling on these wars to happen. But if you really go to the ancient texts and find out where the book of Deuteronomy stems from, you realize it's multiple gods with an S, not singular, fighting against each other and sending human beings out to battle these different cities and towns against each other to steal the spoils of war, more land, more resources from one another. So they began to battle each other using human beings as chattel, unfortunately.
Well, that the book I'm writing, I'm tying that in as the beginning of the super soldier phenomena, was these Anunnaki coming and using us as their proxy soldiers.
Yes.
And that the real difference now is that now humans are doing it to each other instead of the Anunnaki doing it to us.
You're right. So right. I went to Alabama State University a few years back to do a lecture and a workshop. And while I was up there, I went to a facility that housed the SR-71 Blackbird.
Oh,
And
that thing's pretty.
it was phenomenal. Great experience, And while I was there, I was looking around at some ancient war relics that they had in that facility. And one of them was a gigantic ballistic missile. And, ballistic missiles are designed to fly around the planet and destroy another city halfway around the world. And on that ballistic missile was written in graffiti from a soldier. It said, I'd fly halfway around the world to smoke a camel. So obviously that's a double entendre. And what they're saying is,
Ooh.
I'd like to launch this thing to go blow up a guy, riding a camel in the desert. And this is like on display, I mean, so
Yeah.
human beings start seeing other human beings as worthless. Like there's no life, there's no human value to human life. And it's really unfortunate.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of that coming out on social media is my kind has value and yours doesn't. And I'm like, pardon my cussing, but where the hell did they come up with such a screwy notion?
Yeah.
We're all human.
Right. Yeah. I know. It's really, we got to change this, and the only way to do it. And people tend to get confused with having pride for your race, but also having support and love, unconditional love for the human race.
Mhm.
For example, sometimes people get misconstrued. I may be trying to work with market my message to Black people, because Black people, unfortunately, that's a fact. It's not even hidden anymore. It's well known that we're far behind a lot of races on this planet due to what happened to us. And so it takes a special type of message that I have to put out sometime to target them, to click in their brain, to get them to wake up, because the religion and the epigenetic memories from the ancestors are kind of really ingrained in the DNA. And it's hard to wake up and snap us out of the delusion that we're in. So I target
they're also not very trusting, which I understand 100%.
Absolutely. So it's been a lot of work that's gone into that. And sometimes people will come on and go, no, man, it's not about, it's all about us. I'm like, yes, it's all about us. I support the entire human race, but I also have to try to do a little extra work over here, because we got to get up to par. We got to bring ourselves up to par with everyone else consciously. We got to snap out of some of these things that have been hard coded and programmed into us for hundreds of years, and so it's a process.
The other side also needs to be snapped out of the same bullshit flip side of it.
I agree. Yeah. And when we can do that, and we can begin to kind of come together and understand that we're not going to advance on this planet separate.
No.
Divide and conquer has to end. We got to realize it's a trick they've been playing on us for eons.
Well, they've separated us by race. They've separated us by religion. They've separated us by language. They've separated us by primary abilities.
Yes.
And they've decided the more they keep us fighting each other, the less we fight them.
Absolutely.
Because if we were ever united, we could do whatever we wanted.
Exactly. And they know that. They understand that power. That's why at the Tower of Babel incident, if you look at the Tower of Babel incident from the Sumerian tablets, it's totally different from the, or it's explained more in detail than the Sumerian tablets versus what's in the biblical detail, where obviously Yahweh comes back and see human beings building a tower in heaven. But in the tablets, it's really human beings working together, building a tower into heaven. They were replicating something that the Anunnaki themselves had already built. It was like a cargo. They were trying to duplicate this technology. And Yahweh is actually Enlil from the Sumerian tablets, one of the most evil rulers of all time. And so he realizes, he says, wait a minute, whatever they set their hearts to do, they can achieve it. So he says, I got to blow this thing up. So he blows up the Tower of Babel, literally. And then he has the human beings separated and taken all around to different regions. And he has their languages changed so they can't communicate with each other. And so it was all this is where the big divide and conquer really, really manifested.
Yeah.
Where he was like, look, if these people keep doing this, they're going to realize they don't even need us. And
we don't.
Yeah, we don't. And so he had to start the divide and conquer tactic. It's gone on ever since.
So yeah, that's probably the worst heritage that they left with us, was they divided us.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it personally. So that's the worst thing that the Anunnaki did. The other thing was that they set us up to kill each other over which Anunnaki we worshipped.
That's right. That's huge. And that was the biggest one to do that was Marduk. Also, he's in the Bible. He's also in the Torah, Jewish American Library. You can look him up. His name is also Amun-Ra in ancient Egyptian. And Amun-Ra is the one that wanted to usher in monotheism and make a one God religion. He was like, I'm tired of competing with my relatives to be the one God. From this point forward, I want to be the one God. He even started a war over this, using human beings, of course.
Of course.
The First Pyramid War. And he got Akhenaten, Pharaoh Akhenaten, to fall in line with him. And then Pharaoh Akhenaten started going around defacing, had his soldiers and everybody defacing all the different glyphs around the regions that had any of the other gods on them, the other Anunnaki beings like Thoth and Ra and the Blue Ra and Set and all these other people. He had them start defacing all these statues and everything else, breaking off the faces. That's when you go to Egypt, you see all these chipped off gods all over the place. And then he tried to bring everybody in to worship him and him only. He says, I wanted to be the one and true only God, and I am a jealous God. That actually made it into from the Egyptian text into the actual Bible. So people reading the Bible don't know that they're listening to the words of a guy who was a brutal killer, you know?
Yeah.
Not the creator of the universe.
I agree. And this whole concept of a jealous God has caused people to kill each other ever since.
Yes. That's the big problem with it. That's why I keep trying to expose it. Like more people have been murdered on this planet over religious beliefs than any other reason.
Yes.
You know, if you look at the
yeah, that's one of the things that came through with my memories, is that religion is the cause of more violence than anything else. Even sexuality, property rights, land ownership. Religion is what we kill each other over.
Yes. Look what's going on right now in the Middle East. You know,
well, part of that's over who owns the oil. It turns out that the biggest oil deposits are underneath the Shia rather than the Sunni. So that's what they're presenting it as, a religious war, but it's really a resources war.
That makes a lot of sense.
They got along fine until the oil under the Sunnis ran out.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And a lot of the problems in Africa were because Gaddafi was going to build a African central bank, and it was the Pan-Africa system was going to have a gold dinar instead of a fiat currency, and it was going to be a common currency on the entire continent.
Right.
And the point was, you had to buy all of their resources in gold. And the rest of the world doesn't have that much gold.
Right.
So that was why they had to kill him the way they did.
Yeah, that's what they did. They fabricated a lie against him, and they justified it. Oh, we have to go take this guy out because we got to bring democracy to his country because he's killing his people in the streets, which was a total lie, fabrication.
It was.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys that when a couple got married, he gave them the equivalent of $20,000 in a house.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like somebody that's killing his people in the streets.
Thank you. Thank you. And what's happened is, because of that war that Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Biden went on, that private war to go kill this guy, that left them with no military, and it opened that entire region up for slave trade. And so now Black men and women are being traded for $400 a head right now for sex slavery, organ trafficking, and actual just pure old-fashioned slavery through that region right now, because the fact that they took this guy out and destroyed the security of that area.
Yeah, that region had been prosperous and productive, and now it's a hellhole. And it's directly attributable to the Obama administration and Biden, who is now in the White House.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
those people did it. Those are the ones that did it.
Yep. But
Even
they'll never see justice because we only convict the witnesses.
exactly. You're right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like JFK said, dissenters are silenced. Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched people in my world. I've lost 6 so far this year.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
So they're not shy about doing it. I keep wondering why they haven't hit me, but knock on wood. So,
Wow.
but yeah, there's a lot of crap going on in our world today, and the more people who wake up to it and overcome the dividers, the better chance we have of improving the situation.
Yep, absolutely.
So
I agree 1000%. Yeah, that's the
cool.
goal. That's what we have to do. That's the only way. You know, rioting is not going to get it. Picketing is not going to get it.
No.
Crying on TV is not going to get it. And there's only one way. It's unification of the general masses of people coming together, and then we all at the same time say, we're not going to participate in your system anymore. We're done. And the day that that happens, there'll be a new regime on this planet, a regime run by the citizens and not by the oligarchs.
What I've been watching over the years is that boycotts work. They take some time, but they work. I watched the boycotts of South Africa, and that regime eventually fell. I've been watching the pushback against boycotts in support of Palestine. I've been watching boycotts against various poison products to the point that Monsanto no longer exists as a separate company. So
Right.
boycotts work.
Yes.
Their pocketbook is the only thing that they feel.
Yep.
So
Right.
this is a place we need to just stomp and stomp hard, is their pocketbooks. If you don't like what a company is supporting, don't buy their stuff.
Exactly.
If you don't like what a country is doing, don't buy their stuff.
Yeah. It's easy, but they make it seem like it's hard. If we woke up on Monday morning and everybody said, you know what, we're not going to go to work. You know what, we're not going to pay our mortgage payment. We're not going to pay our taxes. We're not going to, and we want to go to the bank and withdraw all of our money. Look at the system collapses that day. It's over.
Oh yeah, the banks only have 10% of the money that they have on deposit. Yep. Because they've basically said, well, we have blah, 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 and loaned it out. So if everybody goes in and asks for their money, only the first 10% will get it, because that's all they have. They've gotten so used to us using electronic money in the form of debit cards or other plastic that I don't think they even keep 10% in the bank now.
Yeah, I doubt they keep 10%. It's probably closer to 5%. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we could bring it all down in under a week.
I agree. It's really easy, but in the minds of people, they think it's hard. You know, well, the fear has them locked in.
Well, you take a look at what happened when they did the lockdowns. I don't know about where you live, but where I live in the mountains of California, we lost 80% of our small businesses basically overnight, and they have not come back.
Wow.
We're open now, but all of those people went out of business.
Yeah, gone.
They're gone. Yeah. And those people who lost their businesses also lost their homes, because most of these were family run and they had used their home as a collateral for the business loan. And so you've got people here that can't pay the rents. Yeah. They lost their homes. Everything's overpriced because Gasoline is now twice what it was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You're looking at the people who are commuting to work, because a lot of the people who live up here commute all the way down into the valley. So they're doing a 2-hour commute to work and a 2-hour commute home, and they're paying gasoline for all of this. And that just doubled from 6 months ago. And so how are they going to pay for the gasoline to go to work and their rent when their wages have been cut?
Crazy. That's really
You know,
unfortunate.
and people are looking at this and going, well, I just can't make it unless I follow what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, you can.
And
The way we make it is to say no more.
exactly.
General strike, boycotts. You
Yep.
only support your local people. You
Mhm.
don't support the corporations anymore. You
Yeah.
support each other.
Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
grow food in your yard, regardless of what the homeowners association says. You can build a shelter around it so they never see it.
Exactly. Oh, you're real. That's real. You know, it's come to the point where when are you guys gonna take back your God-given rights?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have rights given to us by the creator of all that is, bypassing the Anunnaki pretenders.
Yes. Exactly.
So,
And that's
and it's time that we stood up and said, we're not going to take this anymore.
exactly. I agree 1000%. That's what it comes down to. Because once we stand up, the game is over.
Yeah, it is. And they know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've gotten us completely off topic.
People need to hear this. This
They
is
do.
important. They really need to hear it. They really need to.
Well, can I add to that for a brief second, guys?
Sure.
I can even make it one better. I can go one better for you, Penny. Dan Perkins was listening in to what the man, Mr. Billy Carson, I call him bad boy because he is a bad boy. And he wants, I'll send you his telephone number. He wants to have a discussion about doing an interview on me and his show, Blacks and Whites, and to talk about these issues as well.
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
you, like I told him, that's my man, the bad boy Billy Carson, the man that does it all. I mean, he's a little bit of everything. He goes, well, you like the idea? I'm like, yes, Dan, I like the idea of having him on the show to talk about racial issues and from what he sees, and also why people don't see themselves as human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
That's
we
another-
don't see ourselves as human beings first.
Right. Exactly.
Back to y'all. Go ahead. Have fun, guys.
Right.
Human beings before our country, human beings before our religion, human beings before our gender, before our race, before anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I got one question then. Now, with the formation of ideology and belief in religion and government, they divided us. The Anunnaki divided us, as the story goes.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were divided then, and we keep dividing ourselves, we'll never unify to confront the evil that's right in front of us, to take our civilization, our home, our people, our lives back.
Right. Yeah.
We'll never be able to take it back because
That was the goal.
people are stupid. They stay divided.
Well, part of the problem too is the education system. Now,
Still dividing.
kids are not stupid. Okay,
Right.
I'm going to say that point blank. I've got some really intelligent friends who are in their 20s. The kids today are not stupid. They're not being taught what they need to know.
Yeah.
And that's the fault of the people who are setting the curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The
That's true.
teachers are doing the best they can with what they're given to teach.
Yeah.
But
In a
the
lot of
kids-
cases, teachers know that what they're teaching is a lot of hogwash, but they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are, thanks to the lockdown again, we are to the point where we have a generation coming up that cannot read. They cannot write, much less reason.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you, Penny. Good
So
God.
you can tell them whatever you want and they can't understand it. And
I
it's
know.
not because they're stupid, it's because they've never been taught the basics.
Yep. That's right. That's right. And a lot of that also in a weird way falls on the parents too, because they allow video games to babysit their kids instead of interacting and teaching them themselves.
Yes.
I have to do
Well-
have both of y'all on the show because y'all are hot. Y'all telling the truth. I hate to say this again. It's kind of funny, Penny, when you have to come out and speak on it. But when Billy Carson talks about it, it's like it must be going crazy. Just to let you know, in Florida, they were trying to push this radical race theory into your school systems, and the parents said, "Oh, this is what the school board said." This is so funny. We're trying to make it, very well done so that every student is represented. So hold on.
What does that translate to in English?
In English, that means we're trying to gear the education for, because you're Black, we're going to gear it to your level of intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like they did Tim Scott. They called it. They said his arms were too long, and his hands were too big, and his arms were too long. They're rubbing on the ground. They call him a Oreo, Uncle Tim, and no one got fired over that.
Right.
Sorry, I had to go there.
Personal insults
I want to get into it.
never be tolerated.
Black and white, blacksandwhites.us is the website. I guess all I can say. Bye. I'm not going there. I'm not going.
Yeah, we got to work through these things together, and the only way to work through these things is to actually talk with each other and address the elephant in the room, and talk about our differences and also our similarities, and work together to create a new world and a new planet together. All this other stuff is just really hurting us and hurting our future generations, and unfortunately, that can prevent us going into a golden age. So we really have to address this. This is the beginning stages of starting to work together now and get these things out and exposed. And let's talk and explain ourselves to one another and really figure out what's bothering each one of us and how our minds are working, so that we can somehow empathetically try to consider the other person's feelings and then try to work toward a better future together.
Well, there has to be a basic respect for each other.
Right.
That is something that I'm seeing missing all across the board. We need to respect each other as the people we are. And we need to take responsibility for making sure all of our children learn to read, learn to write, learn to do mathematics, learn to reason. I mean, when I was a kid, they used to teach this thing called logic.
Yeah.
That's the core foundation for figuring out if somebody's lying to you or not. They don't teach that anymore. By the time my kids were in high school, they had stopped teaching it. And so I was this pain in the butt parent who went in and said, "Excuse me, my kid is taking geometry. Why isn't he doing 2 column proofs?" So I had to teach the kid at home because they said, "Well, we don't do that anymore." And I said, "Why not?" I said, "Do you at least teach logic in sophomore English?" "Well, no, it was decided it was too hard for the children to understand." Okay, they're not teaching logic. They're not teaching rhetoric, which is how you figure out if somebody's bullshitting you or not.
Exactly.
They're not teaching rhetoric anymore. When I was in high school, we called it speech class.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
right.
They're not, they may have a speech class, but they're not teaching the same things anymore. So mathematics, rhetoric, and logic are the foundation of critical thinking, and they've watered them all down or eliminated them entirely. And now you've got kids coming up that cannot read. I don't think these kids are the problem.
No.
Kids
It's the
are not any
environment.
dumber. Kids are not any dumber than they ever were.
Right.
They're not any lazier than they ever were.
Hmm. Yeah.
So what's wrong with what they're being taught?
Yeah.
And I think we need to start with that and say, we used to teach blah, 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 blah. Why aren't we now?
Yeah. Right. Well, also, these the school system is designed to raise a bunch of low IQ workers, and I mean, the fact that you've got to spend the first 25, 26 years of your life, in some cases 30 years of your life, just going through school is ridiculous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. What kids are learning, by the time they get to high school, they should have already been able to do that, part of that in grade school. I don't see a need to go past 10 years of school and then another 3-4 years of college or med school, whatever you add to that. Within that same, by the time they turn 18, they should be ready to do whatever it is they're supposed to be trying to do, not waiting until they're 30 and have $100,000 in student loans debt and all this other kind of crazy stuff. And the 90% of them never develop the IQ high enough to do anything more than stock a grocery shelf.
Well, back in the day, we used to have trade schools.
Yep.
Because it was understood that not everyone was meant to go to college.
That's very, very true. You got to give them something to work with. You got to give them something to do. But now it's just take these, memorize these exams, and then when you get done, we're going to give you this piece of paper and throw you out there into the world. Instead of finding out what these kids' talents and passions are. Maybe my talent is working on electronics. Well, put that kid into an electronic system. Let them work on electronics.
Yes.
Put that kid into this other program, whatever their passion is.
Well, I have a grandson who's in high school, and my son and I discussed the situation with the kid, and I recommended a trade school. And so my grandson, my son, and his wife discussed it, and they came up with welding. Well, a lot of people are going, oh, welding. Welding is one of the higher paid things out there.
Yeah.
Plumbing is next.
Yeah. I mean, one of my relatives was a welder for top secret black budget military airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money in welding.
You can do really well for yourself in welding or plumbing or electrical or any of the construction trades.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be an English major sitting in a university and then become a lawyer. I mean, to be honest, those people are parasites.
Well, that's a fact. We know that. There's a lot of them that are, there are some good ones, but the majority of them are looking to make money off of a victim, whether that person is right, wrong, or indifferent, doesn't matter to them. They just see them as a dollar sign, and their main objective is to extract the money from the pockets of people at any cost. They don't care how much they got to lie, they got to fabricate, how they got to twist truths. They really can care less. It's about, listen, I got to pay for this yacht and this Rolls Royce. I got to get this money. So I'm going to make up and do whatever it takes in these courtrooms and manipulate and psychologically manipulate these people to whatever it takes to get this money. And that's their main objective.
I used to be a priest's assistant, and we had this local lawyer. At that point, he was a defense attorney, and he was a big name. He's now a court justice in our county. And at that time, he said, nothing is ever cut and dried. I don't even ask if the people are innocent or guilty. It's a chess game between the lawyers.
That's a fact.
And I'm like, I was just floored. I had no idea. And this was 25 years ago, he's telling me this. So when you have people in the game telling you this stuff,
Yeah.
you should stop and listen because they're telling you the truth.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is so true. Very, very true. Yeah. It's really unfortunate. The biggest problem that we have in this society is capitalism has destroyed humanity. And
There has to be some
crazy.
limit to capitalism.
Right. It's got to be a limit. Like, in other words, capitalism, okay, let's barter and trade and we make money, we break bread. That's fine. But let's take the profits out of pharmaceuticals. You know?
Yeah. There
Fine.
are some things that should not be for profit.
Exactly. I think we'll find a lot of these pharmaceuticals will just disappear. They won't even exist because why there's no reason to make them because we can't trick the people into putting this stuff in their body and killing themselves because we won't make any money since there's no profit. So, well, let's tell them the herbs that they got to use. The doctor's gonna say, oh, well, you better take this herb and this herb because that's gonna help you, versus take this pill and this pill from this pharmaceutical company with 20,000 side effects. So we got to take the profit out of pharmaceuticals. We got to take the profit out of prisons. We got to take the profit out of all these different types of things that are really harming us. And then you'll find the real deal benefit of those things will come out. Real medicine will be teaching.
And stop making things illegal just because someone else wants to make money off them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's another thing we got to do, I mean, there's countless people that are in jail right now for marijuana, which is a plant. And most of those people are the plant was for them, for their own self-use. Yeah. So you have people locked up for picking flowers. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's exactly what they're in jail for. And some of them were put in prison for life over having a flower in their possession.
Yeah. It's the craziest thing. And you know what? But the thing is, we've allowed this to happen to ourselves because we won't unify and see the bigger picture and stop this from happening. We keep allowing them to do this to ourselves.
Drugs are one of the top 3 things being sold on the planet. And they're not always in this order, but it's human trafficking, drugs, and weapons.
Yeah.
And those are the top 3 things in trade on this planet. And we need to stop and think about what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about an advanced civilization, alien life flying past our planet, and they would scan our planet and pick up the evidence that there's technological advancements down here and go, whoa, let's stop and take a look. And so they start scanning the planet and they realize, oh, wow, they've got a weapons system. They've got over 3,800 nuclear weapons on the surface of this planet in silos. And they go, wow, they're really ready for a space battle of some kind. But then they track the trajectory of the codes for those nukes and they go, wait a minute, these nuclear bombs are pointed back at their own planet while they're still on it with no escape pods. Oh, there's no intelligent life here. Let's keep going.
Yeah. There was an episode of Deep Space Nine. You remember that show?
Yeah, that was a space. It was like a space station.
Yeah, and the Ferengi went back in time with some of the officers, and they ended up on Earth, and it was supposed to be the Roswell case. And they're picking up all this radiation, and the Ferengi, asked them, what's all this radiation about? And was told about the nuclear bombs at the end of World War II. And the guy just stands there and said, you irradiated your own planet? That's exactly what the ET is going to say about us. You irradiated your own planet? What were you thinking?
Yeah. Well, there's an IQ deficit here, obviously. The oligarchs that run this planet, they think they're geniuses, but they're actually really, the IQs are so dark and low. And like you said, I mean, you where's the escape? We can't even escape the bomb. So we light the bombs off, we send them off, and we can't even get away from the fallout. It's just, it's come on. We have, a lot to do, a lot of growing up to do, but it starts with us as the citizens of the planet saying, okay, enough is enough. This is going to end, and it's going to end now. All the military, all the police officers, all the people that are being used have to also come and say, let's stop this. We're not going to participate. We're not going to take orders from men sitting in $10,000 suits, sending us to go die so they can make billions of dollars of profit.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on. Every war out there will have the level that is being blamed on religion, but underneath it's about some asshole in a suit making money off of the deaths of everyone else.
Yeah. Let's change the law. If you want to go to war against a country, then you, the leader, have to go hand-to-hand battle against the leader of the country you want to fight. And then after that, we see where we end up. But
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely. Or send their kids out to the front line. So, okay, Mr. President, you want to go to war against this country? Send your kids on the front line first. They're the first ones to go in. Wars will end right away. You'll never see another war.
That would definitely slow it down.
Yeah. So,
and outlaw banking.
Yes.
Well, a friend of mine and I came up with a 7-point plan to revamp society, and it was get rid of ET religions, get rid of Babylonian money magic, get rid of patriarchy and matriarchy.
Yeah.
Get rid of the racial structure. End all slavery, period.
Yeah.
And to end the concept that the planet is just a resource that we fight over.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So that was the list. That was the list we came up with, and that's kind of where the direction I'm working is. This would create an egalitarian society where everyone had value.
Yeah.
And no one was automatically in charge of anything. That leaders would be based on their actual ability to lead.
Perfect.
And their wisdom rather than their adrenaline or testosterone.
Yeah. Well, you just brought up a good point, adrenaline and testosterone, because listen to me. Look at the state of the world today and look who are the majority of the people in power in gender, men. So we have a severe issue with balance, energy balance. There's too much masculine energy running this planet. There is no feminine balance to the energy. And so to see the evidence of a lack of masculine, a lack of feminine energy, you could just go to Cairo in Egypt. And when you go there, you'll see that everything is one color. Everything is dirty. Garbage is in the streets. Garbage is that they turned the Great Pyramid area, the Giza Plateau, into a garbage dump. And the women have no rights. The women can't even look at a man in the face. They have to keep their bodies completely covered. So you see the pulling out of the spirit of the feminine energy, and you see all masculine energy dominating that area. And the evidence, it looks like a gigantic, dirty bachelor pad. There's not even a flower in sight. No flowers. There's nothing. Okay.
I see Daryl laughing.
Yeah, so we have to, you see the lack of feminine input. So look at now planetary. Take that little area now, expand that to the entire planet, and you realize there's not enough feminine energy. There's no balance on this planet. Men are dominating, ruling, killing, murdering, plundering the entire planet. And the planet itself is a conscious, sentient being. And this earth, when eventually—
And the planet itself is a feminine being.
It is. It's a Mother Earth. And this Earth today is going to say, you know what, let me shake them loose because it's time for you to let them restart their civilization again, which has happened before.
Yeah, it has happened before. And I'm kind of watching things look like this is happening now.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, it's happening. We don't have that much time. I keep trying to tell people, you keep playing around out here 15 to 20 years. Cavemen again.
Yeah, I don't think we have a lot of time left to save ourselves. And I think we're going to have to make some really big changes really fast if we are.
Oh, yeah. Extremely fast. But Father Time never lost a battle. People, human beings, unfortunately, have short memories. And they don't do a lot of research into the ancient past. Listen, you're on the same accord with me. I'm telling you, there's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of time. This is why the billionaires are going to Mars on a one-way trip and not coming back. You think they don't know what's going on?
Yeah. The billionaires thought that they would be able to leave Earth behind and escape the mess they made. And I'm not sure that's going to work out very well for them.
No, it's not.
There are folks on Mars.
They are there. And that's going to be a whole nother situation that's going to be brewed. And the reason why they keep the secret about the people that are on Mars is because, unfortunately, we, meaning the military industrial complex, are the brand new Christopher Columbuses on Mars, eradicating and moving out the people that are already there and have been there and own that land and living there. And, because it's a small remnant, taking advantage and moving them out and creating these new there's one area called Elysium, which is where a lot of the billionaires are going to head to within the next 8 to 10 years. They're going to be living in this Elysium area region on Mars. And the breakaway civilization has already begun. The military setup and everything has already begun. All the images or evidence is already there on publicly available images that they've already gone and started establishing and building the infrastructure for this new oligarch transport to the other planet to escape what's happening here or what's going to happen here.
Well, now I know that you've been at conferences where Randy Kramer was, and I spoke on a panel with him, and he was sitting there talking about the Department of Defense using the native peoples of Mars to test weapons on.
I believe it.
And that's how is that any different than Columbus enslaving the people of the West Indies?
Yeah, no different. And see, the thing about Randy Kramer, he took 2 independent lie detector tests at the request of Gaia.
I would be willing to take one if they were offering.
Right, me too. Everyone who there's now, you have to take them. And the thing is beautiful about it is he passed it with the highest score out of anybody that took one there. So his information is valid, in my opinion.
Yeah, Randy is a trip. Yeah, I've been to 2 conferences with him where we were on panels together, and he's a very interesting individual.
Yeah, he's a character, but his information obviously has a lot of validity to it.
Yeah, I haven't argued with any of his information except the hoax Mansid invasion. That scares me terribly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So you want to talk about what's going on with your Forbidden Knowledge website?
Yeah.
You're
absolutely.
doing TV now?
Yeah, I have Forbidden Knowledge TV. So with the number 4, Forbidden Knowledge TV or forbiddenknowledge.tv to get to it through the website, or on the mobile app, Forbidden Knowledge TV app on iPhones and Android phones. If you have a Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon, you can search there for the Forbidden Knowledge TV. You can get a free 3-day trial on the platform. Right now, we're up to 5,200 shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, growing very fast. Every single day, we're adding 20 to 30 more shows almost every single day. It's growing like wildfire. A lot of great content, a lot of incredible content. And the platform right now is doubling in size every month. And a lot of people are giving us a lot of phenomenal reviews. A lot of the videos have incredible comments. Some of the shows have 300 or 400 positive comments, because you can comment on the actual show itself, leave a comment or a review on each show. It's incredible, the great response that we've gotten. And what's really incredible also is the fact that, you know, you can just literally watch it on your actual TV through Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon. So it's been doing phenomenal. I'm really excited about it. And also a lot of our pay-per-view. So every workshop that I do, when I get done with that workshop, it goes onto Forbidden Knowledge TV as a pay-per-view. So if you missed my workshop, that's okay. You can actually go on Forbidden Knowledge TV, and you can actually get the workshop on Forbidden Knowledge TV as well.
Well, that's good to know. I'm going to have to break down and get Roku. I have a show on Fringe TV.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Roku is phenomenal. I love Roku. It's portable. You can take it anywhere with you too, is what I like.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to break down and buy one.
Yeah.
So,
I also have a workshop coming up, by the way. I have a workshop coming up this Saturday coming up. A workshop with Dr. Tara Swart. And the workshop is called Spirituality Backed by Neuroscience. And Dr. Tara Swart is my professor from MIT. And so we became good friends over the years and decided to do a workshop together. And so I'm going to talk about a lot of the spirituality, metaphysics, and quantum physics that go into spirituality. She's going to back up a lot of the things I've been talking about for so many years. She's going to back it up by actual, authentic, peer-reviewed science. So we're going to find the spirituality together. It's going to be a great workshop. And the link for that is on forbiddenknowledge.com, or go to Eventbrite and just type in Billy Carson. It will pop right up.
And that's for May 29th.
Yeah, May 29th, 9 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m.
Since I'm going to be putting the recording on my YouTube, people need to know that it was from May 29th, so that they can go to forbiddenknowledge.tv and find it in the lineup.
Yes, they'll find it right there. Spirituality Backed by Neuroscience, a 5-hour workshop with an MIT professor.
That's cool. That's very cool. So what's in your long-term future?
Long-term, what I'm looking to do now is I'm going to do an offering on a platform, one of my companies. I'm going to do an offering for business crowdfunding and offer shares of the network. So that's in the works right now. Should be live very, very soon. I'll be making a major announcement so people can not only watch the network, but be part owner. And I'm also launching the Forbidden Coin, which is a cryptocurrency, my own cryptocurrency. And that'll be out probably in about 90 days. I think it's going to be a great income and investment opportunity for a lot of people. The Forbidden Coin is coming out with the number 4. And so that's, I'm really happy about that. And then I've got my clothing line coming out, Esoteric Swag. It was supposed to launch 2020, but we know what happened there. So I pushed it out to 2022. But the Esoteric Swag line, which is a line of fashion-forward clothing, right now initially starting off with men, eventually migrating into women's pieces as well. My own designs and everything, which I've been wearing it. I even have my own shoes, but can't bring it to the masses fully until 2022. That's the ultimate goal and ultimate plan. And the long-term plan is to take Forbidden Knowledge TV public and get a stock symbol and get on the stock exchange and give it an opportunity to become a multi-billion-dollar company and compete with the mainstream corporations for our percentage of the conscious content and conscious information that needs to be sent out to the people versus the fear-based content that's being put out now.
Pretty much everything that's out and acceptable to social media is all Project Mockingbird stuff.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
So,
Yep.
if you're not speaking what the CIA has approved of, you're not going to be acceptable.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to toe the line, but that margin is getting closer and closer to me. So,
Yeah. Well, you know, you're going to end up on Forbidden Knowledge TV, where we control our own destiny, and nobody can tell us what to put up and what to take down. You know, and that's why I keep creating my own platforms. I created my own social media platform, so they can't just eradicate me from online for getting too big. Well, the people are already following me on my own servers, on my own platform, Unite the 99 mobile app. And, you know, even with, you know, the video platform that this may end up on, I created my own platform called 4B Tube. And I think there's 150,000 videos up there already. I got my own video platform for people to upload their own, you know, content created videos. And it's a very similar platform, and you can monetize your videos and everything else. And I'm not taking away people's monetization just because they're talking about controversial topics. Not going to happen. So I just keep creating new platforms, and I believe in creating my own reality. And I think that we can talk about a lot of the issues and problems that are going on in the world, but at some point we have to bring solutions to the table. And I want to be a solutions provider.
That's admirable. I had been looking into setting up my own server to archive SSP videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten some donations towards it, and to actually set one up complete out of the box and working is around $3,000, which isn't completely out of range.
Yeah.
So, but I've been looking into the legalities and having to have written permission to use copyrighted materials and things like that. So, yeah, that was the direction I was heading. So I may end up on your channel.
Listen, we have to take control of our own destiny. That's what it comes down
to. We do.
Yeah.
We have to take control of our own destiny, and the big three are all controlled.
Yeah.
And there's even a lawsuit out right now. There was a politician in one of the eastern states who proved that his stuff was censored because the state government told Twitter to take it down.
See, that can't happen.
And so he's suing them as a function of government. Therefore, as a function of government, the Bill of Rights applies, and he has freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That as long as he's not calling for violence, that he has complete freedom of speech. And so he's suing Twitter and that particular state, and big money is involved. So
yeah, they're gonna have to pay him. And you know what? They will pay him just to keep him quiet, just to get rid of it. But they won't allow it to get back online, because in their mind, it's better to pay this off and not have it for other people to see, versus letting other people see it and get ignited. So they'll just be rather, you know what, for them, give them 100 million, give them 20 million, give them whatever it is, just let them have it, you know, to avoid other people seeing that spark and getting that spark in their brain.
Yeah, they'll just put some little blurb in the settlement that he has to stay quiet.
Exactly.
And then he's stuck.
That's it. Exactly.
So
yeah,
that's how so many things have been buried, is one little line in the settlement that says, you are now to be quiet.
Yep. Yep. Because if you don't, they'll come right after you hard and take everything you got.
Yeah.
In some cases, it might even take your life.
I've had folks in my world die this year.
So, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what's going on. A lot of great things going on. I got to get to my next thing now, but yeah, I'm so happy to have that we finally were able to get me on your show, and I'm excited. I can't wait to promote this. Once this is done, let me know. I'll promote it and put it up everywhere.
Okay. When I get it on my YouTube, we're friends on one of your profiles. So I'll tag you in it.
And you know, people always go, why you got so many accounts? I have 140 social media accounts because I want to be everywhere at all times. And if you take down one, you can't take them all down at the same time because you won't even know. A lot of these people don't even know which accounts are all mine. I got some accounts with ridiculous numbers of followers on them. So I found a way to just become like a conscious virus and be everywhere, you know?
Well,
And,
I've got the one profile on Facebook, and I was permabanned 2 years ago.
wow.
And so I've been towing the line, staying exactly where I thought would stay out of trouble just to keep a finger hold on the platform.
Right, right.
But I'm mostly on MeWe. It doesn't have the numbers, but it doesn't have the censorship either.
You don't have no sense, and you can get your, you know, your engagement's going to be higher. You can also come on my social media app, Unite the 99 on your iPhone or Android phone, and I'll make you a verified account, blue check verified account, and then you can go live on there. Even if you don't have followers, because you're verified, every person on the platform gets notified that you've gone live.
Okay.
Every time you make a post, even with 0 followers, because you're verified, every person gets a notification that you just made a post. So you'll be able to get some traction there as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Just let me know when you get the account set up and I'll log in and get you verified.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, Daryl, did you have any questions for him?
What do you want me to do? Crown air? He's a good man. I
Well,
mean, I
I
got
was
nothing more
told
can
I
say
had
there.
him.
That's a good man. That's somebody that you can say he will stand down against all those radical medias out there that want to take people and censor them.
Yes,
I'm telling you, people.
I'm being good. I was
Follow
told I
Billy
had.
Carson, hear Billy Carson, learn from Billy Carson. I would listen, treat him like water. You need it, he's got some information for you. Am I right, Penny?
Yeah, I was told I had him for 90 minutes. I'm being good. I'm sticking to the time frame.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I know he's busy.
Yeah.
He's tired.
I'm tired too, but I still have to hop on one thing that I got to take care of that I forgot that it was planned from so long ago. I was like, oh no. And but listen, this is going to be phenomenal. And a lot of people, well, you know, they only watch 20 minutes on average, but I think this video is going to be phenomenal. I'd like to also, when you get it up, I'd like to get permission to put this on Forbidden Knowledge TV and introduce you to those people as well and get them seeing your face on the TV network. You know, and that'll also link back to your YouTube and send you subscribers. You know, a little bit of synergy there, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, all I can say, Penny, I'm gonna tell you, that's why I love that man. He knows the key to getting stronger and getting more people to listen to you is through networking. And I tell you, as I tell Billy every time, if you need me, just ask. Hey, I might have a project going on. Hey, let's swing projects together and let's mix it up. I don't care. This man you could trust. And that's the key to being in this industry. Finding those you can trust, you synergy with, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know Billy's like me. I ride or die. And you know, Penny, I ride or die hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how it goes. I ain't dying, so don't worry about it. And I know he ain't going nowhere. Billy ain't going nowhere, no time. And I'd say, God bless you, Billy Carson.
The FBI after one of my shows, and you stuck with me, so utmost.
I'll always stick with you, Penny. You know that. You're my girl. You're my girl. You and Dolly, y'all my girls, man. I ain't gonna lie to that. I mean, y'all hard to beat because you tell the truth.
Yeah, I love it. I love the intelligence. I love, you know, that's what I love the most about, you know, Penny. I think that you really do a good job explaining yourself and articulating exactly what you're trying to say, and in a way that's really still soft and light, but it's really a lot of powerful stuff. You know, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
So
even when I share the dark stuff, it's to try to get it stopped rather than to glorify it.
exactly. Yeah, I understand.
Well, Penny, I think we're gonna have to say good night so that Billy can finish his little project so he can get that pillow. And
Yeah,
hopefully the
Yes,
AC will be
we
on.
we
'Cause,
need to let the man
we got to
rest.
have cold, man. No, we got to have an AC, yo. You know what
Yeah.
time it is.
They came in while we were talking and fixed it. It's actually on now. Cool, and the room is finally getting cool.
All right.
Yay.
We don't want you sweating because we can't sleep when it's a
Right.
little hot. No.
Luckily, see, with this green screen, this virtual background, they passed by a few times, but you couldn't really see them too much.
Well, I could see somebody passing by. That's okay.
Yeah, it was like, little blobs, but you can't, like, you don't get a full body. So it was good.
Yeah. I got an actual green screen because people were complaining about what my old man was doing, and it's none of their
Yeah.
business.
Nobody messes with the Grinch.
Hey, you already know. Hey, look, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. I'm looking forward to talking to you again and coming on one more time. And eventually what I'll do is I'll like to get you on my podcast as well.
Thank you. I'll look forward to that.
All right, great.
So,
All right,
Penny,
y'all.
say good night to everybody, Penny. Penny's so smiling. She got
Good
red.
night, Daryl. Good night, Billy. Good night,
night.
audience.
All right. We'll see y'all later.